I don't hear anything.
Okay, it's 7:03 and I'm going to get started. And I'll, as people join in, I may get just a little distracted as I admit them. But good evening, everyone. Welcome to our town hall meeting for the Underground Utility District 38 project. Just to let you know that we are recording this meeting and we'll plan to make the recording available on AMP's webpage. I am Gary Spenick. I'm a project manager for Alameda Municipal Power, and I am the project manager for the Underground Utility District 38 project. Tonight's meeting is intended to provide you with an update on where we are with the UUD 38 project and tell you what you should expect. I have about a 15 minutes presentation, after which I will attempt to answer any questions. First, I will give you a short background of undergrounding in Alameda, and then I'll give you a short overview of the undergrounding process, tell you where we are in the process, and let you know what you can expect during construction. I think it will work best for me if you're able to submit your questions in the chat. You can enter them anytime during the presentation and I'll try to address them at the end. If I'm unable to get to a question or provide an answer, I will post a response on AMP's webpage. If you're not familiar with Microsoft Teams, here's how you submit a question. So the first step is you'll see a conversation icon. You click on that and then you type your question in the bottom and then hit the send icon, which looks like a paper airplane. I'll also try to unmute everyone at the end so that you can ask your questions in person if you don't want to type. Alameda's undergrounding program began in 1984 as an effort to beautify the city. The undergrounding program is accomplished by designating underground utility districts, or UUDs, through a city ordinance. The ordinance requires that all overhead utilities within the district must be converted to underground. The program is funded through a 2% component of AMP's electric revenue paid into the Underground Utility District Fund. 25 underground utility districts have been completed in Alameda since 1984. Approximately 50% of Alameda is already underground, but we still have 85 miles of overhead. The original undergrounding program was halted in 2012 and AMP was tasked with redesigning the process. A revised underground utility district policy was approved by the City Council in March of 2015. Major changes in this new revised program include that the criteria for selecting and prioritizing districts was defined and quantified. A district nomination board, which includes 1 member from Public Works and up to 4 members from the general public, was created to nominate districts for approval. And then the cost of the service lateral and conversion costs are no longer passed on to property owners unless the length of that lateral exceeds 100 feet, which is rare. And in that case, there may be some costs passed to the property owner. The City Council approved the Otis Broadway Underground Utility District, or UUD number 38, in February of 2019. The district runs along Otis Drive from High Street to Broadway and along Broadway from La Jolla to Encinal Avenue. It's about 1.2 miles long and impacts 205 parcels. Alameda Municipal Power is the lead agency for the city's undergrounding program. The joint trench participants include Alameda Power, AT&T, Comcast, and the city. Here's an overview of the undergrounding process. The main trench substructure and service lateral conduits are built by a construction contractor who will also install and convert the streetlights. After the substructure is in place, each utility will install their own wires, cables, and other equipment, and will begin to convert customer service connections from overhead to underground. When all the utilities have completed their conversions, then the utility poles will be removed. The main trench will be located in the sidewalk area. Of note is that the contractor will take precautions when working near any street trees. That means that they cannot simply saw cut a trench in the sidewalk. To protect trees, they will need to excavate underneath the tree roots. And the contractor is required to hire and retain their own arborists during the trenching operations. In the map on the left, all those circles represent a estimated critical root zone of each of the trees. Service laterals will connect the main trench to the service point on your house. The service lateral involves trenching from back of the sidewalk to the resident to install 3 conduits for electricity, cable, and phone service. The lateral typically follows the shortest path to the existing electric meter on the house, trying to avoid driveways, trees, and other structures. AMP's contractor will restore the surface as close as possible to existing conditions. The property owners must grant permission for this work to be done on their property. The permission will be granted via a permit to enter document that AMP will provide to the property owners for their approval. For service conversions, your service will be converted from being fed from overhead to underground. There are multiple methods that can be used to convert your service, and it depends on your specific arrangement on your residence on which method is used. This schedule is very tentative. The expectation had been that construction would start later this year, but it may not start until the middle of next year. Because the route is part of State Route 61, we must obtain Caltrans permit before construction can start. We just learned that we need to provide additional documents in our permit application, and we're not sure exactly how long that's going to take. Once construction is started, we estimate it'll take 10 to 12 months to install the underground substructure. After this construction is complete, each utility can begin to pull their cable and install equipment. Service cutover will likely occur in 2024, with the poles being removed in 2025. During construction, residents can expect for work to proceed one section at a time. So any trenching activity in front of a particular residence should last only a few days. You will likely experience in the area sidewalk closures, driveway closures, although the contractor will coordinate with the property owner if they have to close the driveway. Street parking may not be available in the construction zone. There may be lane restrictions and scheduled brief outages during the service conversions. Residents will be notified via door hanger before any work is done on their property. Project updates and schedule will be posted on AMP's webpage and emailed to those who opt in to the project mailing list. To sign up for a mailing list, and this is an email list, there's the link on the website, or you can use the QR code. So what are our next steps? Our next steps is that we will continue to work with Caltrans to obtain an approved Caltrans permit. We'll award a construction contract, and then prior to any work being done on private property, we'll obtain a permit to enter from the property owner for the service lateral work and service conversions. At this time, I'll see if I can answer any questions. And anytime, now or in the future, you can always submit questions to this email address, the undergroundamp@alamedamp.com email address. And we will also post underground utility district updates on AMP's webpage. And let me switch to the chat. Okay.
Mine's not going to show because it's.
I see a question in the chat, and it says, I live on Waterden Street and there's a large pine tree growing into the overhead lines. Can the tree be removed as part of the undergrounding project? So we're required to follow city guidelines on all the street trees, and we're really not allow any tree to be damaged. So we're not planning as part of this project to do any tree removal. And let's see. You can, if anybody has a question they want to ask in person, go see if you can unmute yourself.
It looks like Ed and Ernestine have a question.
Okay.
Here, I
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. We sent an email the other day because the form we got talked about, you can send some questions. I think you answered the fact that if in terms of the cost to the homeowners, of course we don't know where does this 100 feet you're talking about, because we're on Washington Way, which is a cul-de-sac. So I'm wondering, is it 100 feet from where they dig the trench?
No, well, it's from typically it's the back of the sidewalk to your meter. So that's typically the measured length. So from the back to the meter on your house.
Oh, okay, all right, because we're trying to figure out if we're going to be having to pay additional money. That's so there's not our sidewalk and the meter are very close together. Okay.
And I did see your email message, and I will I'll respond to that too.
Okay, great. Then I won't bother with the other questions if you just go ahead with the others. I had 2 others, but that's fine. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
And are there any other questions?
It looks like there's another question in the chat. What kind of outage are we expecting? Power, Wi-Fi, water, and what will the duration be?
So the outage will happen during the service conversion, and it'll be very short. It should be a matter of hours for electricity. As far as if you're connected to AT&T or Comcast, I'm not sure how long their outages usually are, but I would imagine that it's the same process that we would follow. Is that we're just changing the connections. All the infrastructure is in place, and that we change your connection to underhead and disconnect your overhead.
It looks like Kevin Barrett's
Yep,
hand
yeah,
is
hi.
raised.
Yep, Barrett, yep. Hi, can you hear
Sorry.
me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Hey, is there a narrow window of time when the homeowner has the opportunity to upgrade I don't know if you call it the electrical panel? And if you know what I'm talking about, is there a narrow window of time? In other words, we'd get notice that, we have, a week or a month to do this upgrading.
So in the past, yeah, we haven't done an undergrounding project in Alameda for some time. In the past, the property owners were notified, and there was an option in the contract, because we will contract with an electrician to do the actual final panel conversions. And there was an option in that contract to allow the homeowner to pay the incremental cost to upgrade their panel. So I don't have that contract yet, and it's certainly something that I will think about putting in that contract, and you'll get the notification, well in advance that, hey, if you wanted to do this, you'll need to let us know. Like I said, I have to contact every property owner because I need to obtain your permit to enter.
Thank you.
There's another question in the chat. What will the new street lights look like?
They'll look like the existing streetlights you see along Alameda. So if you're talking about Broadway, those are historic streetlights. They will be exactly the same. The only difference is that instead of having a wire that feeds them from the top, everything will be underground. And then along Otis, and other side streets where there are streetlights attached to poles, it's a and I forget specifically the style, but it's like a aluminum pole with a cobra head fixture. I see another question about how loud is the construction. So they're going to have to cut through sidewalk. So for a short period of time, there'll be, it'll be, I think, pretty loud when they're cutting through the concrete. But other than that, it's going to be, whatever trucks or other equipment they're using. New streetlights, I have to look the exact length. I think they're it's a city standard, so maybe 30 feet. I can try to look that up. I just don't know off the top of my head. I just give a few more minutes if anybody else has any question or comments.
Oh, Sylvia has a question.
Question. Hi, so we came in a little bit late. Was there discussion about where terminal boxes would be located and how many per street length or block length those little boxes or fake rocks with whatever terminus might be for whatever?
So that if you're talking about the fake rocks, I believe you're talking about those are the old cable television boxes that were installed back when Alameda Power was offering cable service. So we're not this project is not installing any of those. So what you'll see is in the sidewalks, and you'll if you walk down the sidewalk, you'll see all of our boxes are underground. Now that doesn't mean that there could be some above ground pedestals in some places, but it's not going to be significant. AT&T or Comcast may have, you know, some above ground equipment.
DHL/3.
Oh, Sylvia, did you have another question?
Sorry, yes, one more, because we missed the time frame. If there's a start area, like is it Broadway and then the offshoots off Otis or Next or whatever, is there a project time frame when we might expect them outside our door?
So that information will come later. When the construction contractor is on board, one of the first tasks that they'll need to provide is a construction schedule. And so we'll publish that as soon as we have that. So hopefully you're not going to get any surprises that it's like, oh my gosh, it started this week. You should get, you know, some advance notice. And I don't know, you know, we did not specify a sequencing, you know, start at High Street and finish at Encinal. So that will be up to the construction contractor to determine the you know, the best pattern. Okay, I appreciate everyone coming out tonight, and I will try to keep everyone up to date. Like I said, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of specific information on start date and, you know, when your street is impacted, but that will come. Once again, you're welcome to get email updates by you can scan the QR code, or you can follow that link, which just adds your email address to a list that I'm keeping, and I will send whatever updates I have to that.
Oh, Ed, do you have another question?
Just a comment. I wanted you to know that regarding that email list, I tried that since I didn't get this page as a hot, you know, on the computer so I can see it's a hot link, I tried to type it in and it didn't work, but the QR code did work to get us on the email list. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know why well, these were sent out. I have a paper copy, and as I said, I could see it's a hot link because it's blue, but what I typed wouldn't work. So
Okay.
Somebody might look into that because we want to naturally get the emails and know what's going on. That's
Okay,
all.
hopefully, and then for you know, for anyone, you can always use the email address under my name on this slide, which goes to multiple people here. And I attempt, and this is for the general undergrounding program. You can ask any question, and I will attempt to answer it. And you know, even if the email link doesn't work, you can always send me an email to this email address and say, add me to your list, please.
Thank
All
you.
right.
I thank you all.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.